Hi, beautiful people. Okay, I don't know what my problem is with my damn camera again. Probably tired of me talking about this, but as long as we got it all figured out, this technical bullshit. Okay, hello. It is still July 2026, and I am on my lovely walk. I love it's all this beautiful wooded area. And, okay, a couple of things. Again, as always, I'm still going to say it. Okay, counting now, I say 20 plus years, 26 years, holistic wellness, mental readiness coaching that incorporated into these videos and types of things like probably about 6 years ago. Here to help equip you with the tools to survive life and also talk about how to stay disciplined when staying disciplined can become easier when you're passionate about the thing, whatever you're doing, right? So today I'm going to be candid, casual in upcoming shows and kind of talking about kind of what's going on and today, how I feel good. And each day of my journey, each day is different, right? Asking people how they are, well, depends on the day, right? So today I feel good. Yet, yes, assessing my journey in the past couple of years, up to this point, I'm kind of always doing that, having to talk to myself, the past is the past. And what I've gone through that seems like can be very dramatic, but it's dramatic to me because it has to do with my particular situation, lessons through self-defense and everything. And why I'm also jumping on here to say today is also a good day or a better day or getting better day is getting better day. Having better days is pain relief and feeling like going through so much of that, yes, has changed me in the sense of, how am I different? Well, over the past 2 years, when you're basically trying everything and being such a persistent person and feeling like sometimes you aren't going to make it through. This kind of goes through the whole, what do you call it? You feel permanent, it's permanent. The pain you're going through or whatever. Some days I would cry over it. Some people might say being a pussy because it's not like, it was my whole area, my whole body. And it actually started with feeling like I just needed a really, really good stretch. If this is my psoas muscle problem, but it was affecting my lower back. It was affecting a lot of things that I don't need to get into the detail and worry you all in case you start to have these problems. But probably some improper standing is how it started. And then wrist issues, which I think actually is from punching and bone shifting. And that took about 6 to 8 months of my light therapy at home, twice a day, 3 or 4 times a week. I wouldn't even when I'm trying to like do a push up or a plank, like anything. There were times where I couldn't feel like I could even write for very long. Sometimes now is kind of the same thing, but it was nothing like that before. So going through basically a lot of bullshit, people. So it's like, I feel like for whatever you believe, God's source, oneness, the creator inside myself, it's kind of like or my divine plan, I'm going to isolate you. I know the things that you want and you need, but I'm going to isolate you. I'm going to put you in pain. I'm going to do all of these sort of things to test you when I don't really feel like I needed more testing. I didn't think I'd be completely free of challenges in life. I don't feel like I needed certain lessons. Right? So that's to speed you up there. Okay. Now, okay, I want to get into a little bit of the fun topics of my training. There's fun aspects, and maybe not so fun aspects. Before I do, I'm getting ready to post a very intimate and personal show, about an hour long. Don't worry, I'll break it up. Very serious topic. I was never scared to talk about it before, or whatever it is, or didn't want to talk about it, or fear of being judged, because again, this is my personal journey, and this is about my mom. And I've always wanted to talk in kind of little details about my family, but the story is so, you'd need like a map to figure out all of the different things, especially like my mom with the 5 kids and my stepdad, my dad with the 4 wives. So I think I've been to successfully execute an episode that kind of says it all. And basically, if you want to listen to it, maybe it doesn't apply to you, but you might little get some nuggets of information. Is basically about women in the media. We don't hear so much of them abusing men, whether it's physical, emotional, right, spiritual. Sometimes that's worse. And my mom was not physical. I'm pretty much most positive, uh, but definitely mentally manipulating, narcissistic qualities, different sorts of mental illness that I believe and know it to be true, that it turned into schizophrenia after isolation and different deaths and hard times and a hard life. So if you want to know about that story there, I'm going to be posting that soon. And it also gives solutions for people in those situations. It's not a mom bashing or a woman bashing episode. It's like, here's what it is. I forgive her. I've become at peace. I didn't, grow up with her, but I was there every summer. And so, how can we move through these situations now? We're equipped with knowledge of knowing about these types of mental illness issues that can exist. And people want to put labels on people and be so fixed and rigid in diagnosing somebody. But once I learned more about human behavior and also personality disorders, it's kind of like, okay, you really can't put anybody in a box because she didn't fit certain things. It's a very interesting story because this all started me learning as an adult why. I asked my dad one day, like, why did you hate her so much? Like, why? You know, and you can go and hear on there. It's a very wild ride, and he is a very logical, kind of introvert person. I will leave off by saying that basically, when he said this, that floored me. I was like, I gotta know more. I gotta dig deep, and realizing that anybody is capable if they are pushed to their limits. So, yeah, he said if I could have gotten away with it, I would have killed her because of all the lies and everything. And he realized, he came to his mind, he came to his senses that who was going to take care of my brother and I, 8 years apart. So, same parents. Okay. So, of the 5 kids, 2 of us had the same dad. Okay. So, that floored me. So, I was like, okay. So, I just told you, he said, who's going to take care of us? Came to his senses. Okay. So, close out that part. Go listen to it if you want to know, because it is pretty intriguing. Just the parts of her personality. And, okay, I really hope you can hear this while I keep moving my phone. Training. I have not talked in depth about during my training time, other than those of you who have listened to me before. Yeah, changed my life, what it did for me, how I could apply it in everyday life, on the road, being assertive. While I'm not perfect with my verbal skills that I kind of taught myself from one of my mentors, Richie Grannon, who Spartan life coach, specialist in narcissistic abuse, and he used to be a bouncer, and he'd have kick-ass ways of basically how to talk to people and that I would do. Because back in the day, I mean, even in the 80s, like self-defense was dumb and lame. Like, you had the guys in the suit and you're like, no, back off. And I'm like, okay, that's not my personality. And not only that, I don't want to make that my personality because that's lame, right? Lame. Or we'll use the words of gay. Gay just means lame, okay? Not gay as in homosexual. Okay, so I would never do that. Okay, so training. This came up because aside from really picky on so many different levels. People, if you know anything about me, I'm very complicated, which is why it's so difficult for me to be simple. Still learning that is that, um, okay, what I was going to say. Oh, very picky about instructors. And I like technical, but not overly technical. Like I love in Sacramento, Carl Gonsolin. He's one of my faves for self-defense, but he only teaches it like once a week, so never ended up going regularly. Jiu-jitsu is already fancy wrestling. It's already very complicated to me, and plus I'm into the self-defense, not the sport fight. So that's kind of cool that in law enforcement it is becoming popular, like I already predicted, and as well as the firefighters need it. Everybody needs it, in my opinion, especially, or if not specifically, to mindset for life and fighting our battles. So, um, okay, so training, this is what brought this up. Okay, so reminded me. So I saw this thing just a few weeks ago on Instagram, which I really don't get on social really hardly at all, except to just like post my stuff. But these girls, they were standing up, and one of them, like, they were slapping each other. They were slapping each other in a girl fight, but they like kept grabbing each other's hands, and the person who was filming it was pointing out how the other girl like broke her fingers, and they're yelling at each other and almost purposely, like she knew what she was doing. And it reminded me that competitive edge and just how people act. And I would consider that dark energy. Okay, so somebody being dark, you purposely want to hurt somebody, or fight, or again, the competitiveness like overtakes you to where you're doing crazy things. Um, I don't know how to say crazy things. You're just doing things to win and do whatever it takes to win, even if that means hurting somebody, which I don't agree with. Okay, I'm not a competitive person. So to even think that somebody would even be like that with me, much like darkness energy, which is probably its job, right? It's job to either try to break us or hurt us or whatever it is. But when it makes me sad and want to cry, though, that people go to that level of hurting somebody or killing them. So that's been a long journey for me to learn about that. So it reminded me of when I was training somebody that I would definitely, most definitely not call a friend, but we had trained together just a little bit here and there over the years. And I already sensed on the subconscious that there was some sort of competitiveness from her, that energy, right? So I do remember actually training, and this was actually recently because we never see each other. And I don't remember what I was doing, if I was punching, basically had no gloves on, and she hurt me. I said, ouch. I think she even did it again, and I thought in my mind, she doesn't give a fuck. Like, should I walk away? Should I say something? Whatever it is, right? And saying something isn't really ever good, depending on what you say, but you feel like you got to say something. So I really would have had to think about what I was going to say, other than that was a dick move or something. You know what I mean? So, or I like to state things very obviously and bluntly, not even having to use the word I, because that person is not worth my time to talk like that. I probably would have just stated what she was doing and made that obvious. Like to say that was dick. So it reminded me of that, and it reminded me of other situations where that has happened, and actually with guys. And one in particular I actually told, I think he was like 6. He was a young kid. I don't even know. He might have been like 14, but he was a huge ass giant, under some pounds, and we were training together, and I felt like it was fine. Like, somebody that big, I want to train with big people. Most people I've trained with are guys. right? And I think it was about 2 times, and I think I even said something, but he wouldn't stop doing it. And whether he was making an effort to change or not, he kept doing it. And again, like I said, I thought I could, it was almost like I felt like he was taken out on me, like his anger towards women. Okay, so that obviously didn't last for very long. So learning to speak up even in those situations, like even if you're getting partnered up, like, hey, quit partnering me with that person, or me just going up. A lot of times, once you become more extroverted, you actually just go up to people, hey, you want to partner with me, whatever it is. So there's lots of situations when you are in a team situation, or partnering, whatever sport, or this is not a sport, just giving you an example, that just go up and know who you're going to work with, right? Don't think about these things. This is also where I learned along my journey, like once I became more socialized to the world, to know how to include myself and not feel like a third wheel, since that was a huge part of also too feeling left out with my two friends growing up and just feeling bad about myself. If anything, I share with you. And I want to say too, I didn't say this today, people. Well, I did say every day is different, but life can get better and better. Okay, no matter what is going on with you, don't feel like you're stuck in that permanent mindset. And it's really easy to do that. It's really easy to fall into loops. It's really easy to be like, fuck this shit. I can see why people cut out in life, like for that mere exhaustion of the journey, So in some ways, people look at it as like a giving up. Well, people have their limits, you know. I know this one veteran, well, I don't know of him as a veteran story, that he felt like he had tried everything, he couldn't sleep. He actually wrote a note to his family, like, this is why I'm going out. I can't sleep. I've tried these things. I feel like they don't work. He had PTSD and other things. So hopefully that judging of people's journey and thinking like religion is like the reason why people should not do these things in their life. We kind of don't know what they're going through. So sad to hear, those sorts of things, because now I've gone through these pain things where, yeah, I'm just like, okay, why? Why am I being put through this? I don't want to be, I don't want to be in pain. Like I'm doing, and also I'm doing these things. Why isn't this getting better? Like this is why people medicate. This is why, like, everything going into my head. And so, and some of that I don't talk my entire walk because I need to soak this up. Back to training is that I could even give advice in just the training aspects and what I experienced as a student, what to look for in an instructor, what also not to be so serious, especially in self-defense. When I walked away from all that Krav Maga training, I was like, fuck, and I thought about instructing, like, fuck, I don't need to know 200 moves. Like, you just need to beat ass. And when you don't know how to fight, you didn't grow up fighting. In rural Pennsylvania, it's not like we had tons of fights and high crime, zero actually. I don't even know if there was a fight even once a year. So that's what it did for me. So in the end, I'm going to recommend it for anybody. Minimum 6 months, minimum 3 months at least, to really get it down and see what you think of it. I was going sometimes, well, 3 or 4 times a week, twice a day. At minimum 4 days a week there was there, all the driving and everything going on. So it's a really missing component of my life that's been gone now for about 2 years. And getting back into it, I know is going to be really rough, and I don't know that I will. I know once a week would be really good for me. And I was aggressively training so much, improper, not enough stretching, you know? And what else can I add to this show with training? There were just lots. The drill training is really the most important and impactful and profound. So the knife drill, I was always scared of, right? Roll into each other. I've talked about that. You've seen videos. What else? We just did situational awareness. A lot of things I could have taught way more workshops on, and especially the teens. Um, there's so many things that I could say, people, in terms of also just being kind of taught the safe ways. But once classes get so big, even instructors want to do it, you have to take the time and patience. In a lot of ways, you can hurt yourself, if you don't point your toes when you kick. If you do your roundhouse, you don't move your hips. There's lots of things, and that's what I mean in the technical aspects, like in some ways are essential. And training out the gate at 100, not being a wussy or a pussy, but you also haven't been pushed, because this is a fight for your life and what you would do in real life. Okay, beautiful people. So I think that is enough for now. I have my list going of all the things that I can talk about aside from relationships. And I feel like always the relationship topic never gets old. But you guys don't know all the different things I can talk about. And I was going to post, this is where I'm hesitating on, it's between when it comes to guests right now. This is what's been going on the past couple weeks. It's like I have some really great material and ideas if I did interview Mike Glover, but sometimes I get frustrated in trying to arrange with people, and that puts me on pause and halt. Sometimes I come around to it. He has a really great story. It's great. I say it's great because in the end, what I see has become of it, and some of the public figure had to go through. Mike Glover, right? Fieldcraft Survival used to be, and now he started his own thing. Happy for him. And I think he is pursuing some body products. So I was cracking up about that. ATM, ass to mouth, telling him, okay, I know you're busy creating anal products right now, but you think you could be on my show? So I don't know if we're going to come together or not. And that's where I'm at right now, people. It's like, I know there's other ways. I was like, okay, I got to coach myself, like send people Calendly links, like, okay, they can pick their own time and whatever. And I really appreciate people's time. So if he doesn't want to spend 3 hours like he does on his other shows because he's too busy creating anal products and having fun doing that, I don't want to interrupt, you know? So these people that dedicate their time to talking to me and not charging, like, there's so much energy on both people involved. So you really have to be soul contract, right? Mission work. We're definitely on the same page. He has a lot to offer. This could be a really great show, but I know that I can do shows without people. It's a nice thing to offer. But if most people aren't giving a fuck and listening, mostly, you, my two beautiful people, like, if there isn't really that much interest, it's not gonna like push me to keep pushing me. So when I don't get feedback, I'm like, okay. So I'm getting ready to walk in the sun and probably hate it for a minute. So I'm going to end right now. Thank you so much for listening. Hope I provided some value to your life, some ways. Again, nuggets of information. Okay. Enjoy your day. Remember, every day can get better. Change your mindset. It's an opportunity every moment, every time to do something different, be somebody different, and being motivated and disciplined. That is the challenging part. And you got to find something to want to live for, yourself, yes, but finding your passion and cause will help you. And I know I said I was going to end this final note watching Sean Ryan's shows, the Candace Owen talking about what drives her and different things like that. And it's kind of like, yeah, this is what all of us have been trying to do for decades, evolve change. I've been talking about this stuff for a long time. I think some of it was over people's heads and or they weren't interested. So I'm just adding to the collective, right? Bullshit, standing up. How can you sit there and let these things happen? And I have so many stories that I could share with you that it's over. The times of repressing and holding things in and acting like things are okay, right? We're going to say the same thing too. Fire fire service, law enforcement, you see bullshit. Like, that's why young kids are be like, fuck this, nothing's changing. I'm actually offering solutions and I don't think I want to do this industry anymore. Like, I've talked to a young one who was going to get into law enforcement and changed his mind because of bullshit, you know? He's awake to know, like, give somebody some time as well, you know, okay, things gonna change, this is what I'm doing, this is what's not happening, put a deadline, I'm out, I'm on to something else, and better for himself. I think he's pursuing his Christian singing career. My friend's son. Okay, love you, beautiful people. Enjoy your day. Okay? Bye bye.